Now let's talk about two personal things going on with me. Then we'll take a short break and we'll come back and talk about all the big gaming news that's been happening, all the controversies and things that really need to be discussed, all right? So number one, the first thing that's really bothering me, it's been a month, it's been an issue now. And admittedly, I will admit when I'm wrong, and I was in the wrong, I screwed up, okay? Here's what happened. A month ago, the way that things work since I moved to this private community is that every 2 weeks, garbage removal people as well as recycling removal people show up and they collect trash and recyclables. Now, we as residents here are responsible to sort those within separate cans. You're supposed to have one can for trash, one can for recyclables, or if you have a little bit more, maybe you have an extra can of each week, okay? And I've been doing that, but 1 month ago, I screwed up. I screwed up and I forgot to put the trash out. And that sucks because they only come for it every 2 weeks. So literally for 2 extra weeks, I had old ass trash. Old stinky fucking trash in my garage. My garage smelled like shit because of it. And finally, 2 weeks ago, they came again and I put all... Now, of course, I've forgotten to put the trash out. So I had this big green can. I had to buy extra trash cans, so I had another extra trash can, and I had this little green can, which actually had been here when I moved in. There was actually the big green trash can and a little green trash can were here when I moved in, okay? So, that being said, all this trash was out 2 weeks ago, and they come or whatever overnight, and I go out there to get the cans at night, and they didn't empty the little green can. And I'm like, why would they have emptied the big ones, this one, and not the little one? It doesn't even seem to make sense. Why would you not empty a trash can, right? And I'm thinking, they didn't leave a note or anything, so I'm thinking, chalk it up to a mistake. They accidentally left the can there, big deal. All right, now it's my fault that I had that much trash. Shame on me because I didn't put it out that week, you know. So I actually brought the can back inside my garage for another 2 weeks. Stinky as hell, okay? I put it all in the corner of the garage. It was old now. We're talking month-old trash, okay? So now last night, finally, I put the cans out again. And this time it was just the big can, I believe, and the small can. I put it out there. And I put a note on it this time. The note actually says, "Hello, please empty this can you forgot last time. Thanks." Left the note on the can. I go out there this morning. The recyclables are gone. And by the way, the recyclables, there were a ton of all this cardboard and stuff. We finally broke down all these boxes. And all that is out there. They take all that. They empty out the big can. They leave the fucking little can again. I'm like, are you gotta be fucking kidding me? Now this time, they leave a note on the can, right? And it says, call this number for a bigger can. And I'm like, what? Why? So you can't empty a can because it's a small can. You want me to get a bigger can? Huh? So I go to open it. It's full of bugs now because it's been out all night. There's fucking disgusting maggots and shit in there. So I can't bring this back inside of my house. It's month-old garbage. It smells like shit and it's infested. I can't touch this can. So the can has to stay outside, okay? So I grab this piece of paper. I go inside. I call the people on the number on it. Says, I talk to this guy, this reception guy, and he goes, he's literally, you can hear him like stroking a beard on the other end of the phone. And he goes, I don't have a clue why they wouldn't have picked it up. I said to him, well, is there a can limit? And they said, well, yeah, technically, your count is supposed to be they empty one huge can of trash, which is your big green can. And yeah, they're allowed if there's a few smaller cans, they're supposed to do it. But if there's a can there that they know they didn't empty last time and you left a note on it to empty it, he goes, at the very least, they should have still emptied it. And if they thought that was like excessive, they send you a bill to pay for it, not they leave it there. That's disgusting. I'm like, yeah, I know it's disgusting. So what am I supposed to do? Because I'm stuck with a can that I can't move. I can't touch that can, right? I'm not going to get bugs inside of my house because these assholes won't empty this can. And I can't put it in my car. I can't do anything with it. I'm stuck with it. So they said, all right, if they leave a can, they're supposed to leave notes on your account. Let me access your account. The guy did. There's no notes. So the guys who do this aren't doing their job properly and didn't do their job again, because even if maybe there was a reason like, oh, it's over a can limit, they're supposed to notate it and tell the customer, and they didn't tell me. So they're completely fucking assholes, basically, not doing their job properly. So tomorrow, someone's supposed to come back during the course of the day and either pick up this can or do something, because I can't touch this can. It's literally out there on the curb, okay? And I notified the president of this whole private place, and our next door neighbor is the treasurer. I notified her, and I told him, I'm sorry, I know that you're supposed to bring your cans in on trash day. I cannot bring that back into my house. That would be a threat to everyone, because if my house gets infested with bugs, now the 2 connected houses could get infested with bugs. We can't do it. We got to leave it there. Okay? So we'll see what happens. If they come back tomorrow and they take it, they take it. If they don't, I don't know what I'm going to do. The guy who I talked to said, call me again and let me know if they don't take it, and we've got to figure something out, because you can't have a can just sitting there. It's disgusting. So that's one issue, okay? That's one major issue that happened to me today. Now, the other issue that's going on right now with me is healthcare. And I've already, in previous Hate Lives, talked about this, all right? But I need to go into detail. I'm going to try to do it as quickly as possible. But I need to go into detail because I get the feeling that there are thousands of Americans right now who have no idea that the healthcare system has seriously changed in the past year, and the steps that you need to take to get proper health care if you move or if you have to go through the new method to get health care. It's completely and utterly changed. There's no guide whatsoever anywhere on the internet or anywhere to figure out how you're supposed to do it properly. It's a huge mess, and because of it, I'm one of the thousands of Americans that slipped through the cracks, and I have no health care right now. And it's not my fault. It's the fault of the people who designed the new process. All right? So I'm going to explain to you why I don't have health insurance right now. And I'm going to explain to you how I'm in the process of getting it. Okay? So, healthcare used to work like this. Okay? You either get it through your job, if you're a full-time employee of a company, corporation that provides it, or you need to get it yourself, or you just don't have it. Millions of Americans didn't have healthcare. They just opted, I can't afford it. I don't even know how to get it by myself. I'm not going to get it. The other problem was there were some Americans who already were sick, and they couldn't get health care because they couldn't get health insurance because the health insurance company said, well, you're sick, we don't want you, denied. So these people couldn't afford health care out of pocket because they were sick, and they're not rich, and so they had no health care, okay? So President Obama decided that he was going to create a new plan where every American had health care, no matter what. No pre-existing conditions don't matter. You know, it may be a little expensive, but it will be affordable. You can get tax deductions later on in the year to make up for the money that you pay up front for it, especially if you don't make a lot of money. So the intentions of President Obama were great. They're great. Makes sense. More people can have health care. Why should there be people who just have no health care? But what he did is he basically turned it from a whole private thing where everyone has to do it separately and they go to a company directly to something that's now mandated and run by the states. So each state in the United States of America, which there are 50 of, right? Or is there 52 now? I don't even know anymore. Geometry, geography, geology. They all sound the same to me. But anyway, in the United States, every state now has to do their own. So what you need to do, you can't just go direct to a company and say, I need health insurance, and tell them your age and your health problems and see if they qualify you and how much it is. No, you can't do that anymore. Now you go to a website for each state. So for Washington, it's like Washington Health Plan.gov or some weird website. You have to put your information into the state website. The state website then will qualify you through the website, which basically everyone's supposed to qualify at this point, okay, regardless of how much money you make or what your health condition is. Then that website is supposed to basically direct you or give your information to a healthcare company who would have been who you went directly to before, but now you have to go through this website, and they're supposed to do all that work for you, and then you get health insurance through a third-party company, okay? Problem is, because they decided to do this as a national mandate, and everyone in the country now has to get health care this way, they don't do it all the time, meaning if you don't enroll for health care in November, you don't get it for the whole year. The only way that you can qualify is if there's a life-changing event. Now, in my case, I moved out of the state of Connecticut, across the country to the state of Washington. You know, they're not going to cover me. This Connecticut, which was the name of my healthcare company, said we will not cover any charges in the state of Washington. You'll end up paying out of pocket. Okay? So when I moved here, I immediately went to this website, put my information in, boom. It said I qualified. I even picked the plan. I even paid my first payment, which was over $200, to this website. Okay? The website basically looked like everything was done, and that was it. So I'm figuring I'm good. I had no additional follow-up. No mail came to me that said you need to still do this. No email came to me saying you didn't finish this step or anything like that, okay? And so a month passes, and now it turns to be August because I've lived here for a month, and I got nothing. I'm like, what happened? What happened with this healthcare plan? So I call the website staff, and they go, we have no idea. It sounds like, your stuff probably did go to the company, but they just didn't get around to it yet. Call this company directly. The name of, I think it's Premier or something like that, the name of this healthcare company. I call the company says, we have no record of you, sir. You don't exist to us. So what that means is that the website, the healthcare website for Washington, never sent us your information. Did you happen to send them qualifying documents to prove that you moved from Connecticut to Washington? And I went, What are you talking about? Not at one point, never when I was doing this on the website to get healthcare, did it ever ask me for this information, ever. And they're like, we get this call literally hundreds of times a day. It's not your fault. Their process sucks. Their website sucks. You were supposed to give them a cancellation letter from your old insurance company as well as a bill from your old address and your new address to prove that you no longer have health insurance and that you are in a new state, and then they will qualify you. But you need to get all that first and put it into their website. And I'm just like this. I'm like, so I basically could have had healthcare this whole month and got all this information for everyone, but they never told me. And they're like, yep, we get this complaint all the time, sir. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. So at this point, I go back and I call back the website and I say, why did you not tell me this 20 minutes ago when I called you? And they're like, duh, we're very sorry. Like they have no answer. Basically, they didn't know anything because they're uneducated, okay? So they explained to me then the process of how to submit these documents. Now, the problem is, I, number one, supposedly still owe them another payment of $200, which I told them I'm not paying you another $200 because I'm not covered. I don't have health care. Why would I pay you $200 and then another $200 and I don't have health care? Are you out of your mind? You know what I mean? It's like $400 goes into the air. So I told them, until this gets cleared up, I'm not paying you any more money. Then I went to my old healthcare company in Connecticut and I said, listen, I need to cancel my insurance. They said, okay, but our system is completely automated and you're not going to get your cancellation letter until next month. And I'm like, really? There's absolutely no way that you can send me a letter earlier. And they said, no, sir, it's not. It's completely 100% automated. You can't get your healthcare cancellation letter till September. So I said, so I get no healthcare for the month of August then because I can't prove that I'm not covered. Finally, after waiting the month, yesterday the letter showed up. So yesterday I scanned all the information, I put it into the website to prove all these qualifying documents or whatever. And then this afternoon, this is why I was late for my first stream today, my first gameplay stream, by an hour, because I was on the phone for an hour and a half with Washington website for this healthcare bullshit. So I called them and I confirmed that my information was in there. They said, oh, it's going to take another 3 weeks for them to even review the information. So another 3 weeks without health care, right? Okay, so that's fine. And they said, oh, but sir, we see here that you're delinquent on your bill. You didn't pay. I'm like, I paid you $200 over 2 months ago for absolutely nothing. Oh, sir, well, you owe us another $200. If you don't give that $200 to us, we're just going to cancel your application. I said, so I just want to get this straight. The United States of America changed health care so that more people can have it. But your system to sign up for it is so fucked up that you literally are going to take anywhere from $400 to $600 of my money and use it on yourself, and I got no health care out of it. And if I don't give you this money, you're canceling my application and I get no health care. So basically, it's extortion for $400 to $600 or else I don't get health care. And the woman on the line's like, I said, let me speak to your supervisor, okay? So the supervisor comes on the phone. And I talked to her for about 45 minutes. And I told her exactly how her process is fucked up. And how if you're going to have a customer pay up front, that's a commitment, that's a contract for future service. You cannot accept payment and then not give someone the product at the end. So if you're going to accept my payment, you have to do everything possible in due diligence during the process to make sure that the customer needs to provide more information, okay? So of course, she's the customer service supervisor. She apologizes left and right. Well, I can't give you your money back, but here's how. She bullshits me for half an hour, and you don't bullshit a bullshitter. I obviously know that she's just doing her job or whatever. And I said, all right, so let me ask you this. if I pay you the $200 that you claim you owe me, what is that going towards, and when will I be covered for insurance? And she said, well, sir, since you did submit all of your documents now, and, you know, as long as the documents look good, which I know they're fine, okay? As long as the documents look good and you get approved for being moved during this month, you will be covered for the month of September and moving forward. Meaning, let's say in the month of September, I break my leg and I end up in the hospital, and then I come home and then I just say, send me all the bills. When all the bills come, since I am in the process of getting health insurance, so let's say finally sometime in October I get approved and I get all my medical cards and everything from this Premier company, whoever the hell they are, Premier, I don't know. Then I would send those bills to them and say, listen, technically I've been covered since September, per the fact that I paid my premium to the Washington State website or whatever the hell it is. So you have to at least pay some of this cost for my medical bills, okay? So I said, if I make this next payment, you're basically saying this payment is for the month of September and moving forward. And she said, yes. She says, in fact, that payment that you made back in June was actually for the month of August. And I said, so what you're telling me is my $200 went into the air and you guys spent it however you wanted. I didn't go to a doctor in the month of August because I didn't have health care. But what you're telling me now is because I gave you the appropriate documents that I will be covered from now on. And she says, basically, in shorter words, yes, you are now covered. You may not get payment right away, but you'll need to submit any bills or anything that come up to this company when you do get approved, and supposedly they will pay some of the cost. So I just want you to think about how complicated this fucking process is, all right, versus me just picking up a phone. Hello, is this the health insurance company? I have a back injury, and I'm 32 years old, and I'm this weight, and I don't have any other ongoing medical problems. Can you please tell me how much it costs a month for health insurance? Oh, it costs that much? Okay, I approve that. Oh, I'll have my card in the mail next week. Thanks. That was the old system. Now, it's literally jumped through 47 fucking hoops because the system's broken, because when you make a law like this, you cannot put it into effect until the infrastructure is there to handle it. It's obvious that when the light switch was flipped and they turned on this law, no one actually checked to see if the websites were up and running, if the websites worked, if the websites had the amount of information that people would know when they need to provide additional information. There's no follow-up system put into effect. The system sucks monkey shit. All right? And it's a joke because this is everyone in America has to use this now. It's not just me. The only people who aren't using it are people who have a full-time job, like an office job or a corporate job where you get your health insurance through the company. Those jobs are few and far between these days. Most jobs today are service industry. People are working 2 or 3 part-time jobs where they don't have health care. They have to get their own health care now. So everyone's being forced to use this process. Now, I'm tech savvy. All right? I understand websites. I understand scanning and uploading. Imagine someone who doesn't understand this stuff. Imagine maybe an elderly person is supposed to understand this shit? Really? This blows my fucking mind that this is what happened to our healthcare with a law with a good intention, and that good intention gets completely destroyed by not preparing properly before you launch the law. I mean, what a fucking joke. So anyway, the point that I'm making here, and I hope that I can help you with it, is this. If you are moving in the United States of America from one state to another, and you are not going to have your old health care anymore, when you go to your state's website and you register and you make your payment, that's not the end. You have to put a ton of documentation to prove that you legitimately moved from one address to another. If you do not, you will be sitting and having no health care and paying money to this website because this is how broken the process is. So be forewarned. I hope this is a public service announcement to those of you who live in the United States and may be thinking of moving out of state. It's a bad process. You're going to have frustration, but hopefully this at least helped you so you're not like me, stranded, sitting here like an asshole with no health care. By the way, I would love to see a doctor because I haven't been to a doctor in years and years, and it was my goal that when I finally moved out here, that was one of the first things on my agenda, and now it's just not happening because I still have to wait to get health care. It's a shame. It's a shame that there's people out there that our government wants to help, but they're so inept at what they do that they can't. All right, it's time for a break. We're going to come back and talk about the 3 controversial topics going on right now in gaming. And then we'll see how long it takes to get through those, and then we're going to get some callers. So thanks for watching, everyone. I'll be right back with the continuation of Hate Live. If you're watching this on stream, there's going to be a short commercial break. If you're watching this on YouTube, just take a look at the timestamp, and you can skip right ahead to the next section. All right, here we go.